Good morning. Uh, Today is a gorgeous day. A little bit of moisture from the sky and a little bit of sunshine predicted. And I hope that you are all well and having a wonderful um, day planned for yourselves. Hopefully, to get up, maybe get out in your garden or go for a walk or enjoy this beautiful world that we live in. So it is time this morning. Start with your candle if you are using one or if you're in your sacred space. I had little Glenn Miller going on there. It's kind of like some people have comfort food, I have comfort music, and that's um, the big bands have always been my comfort music. So I guess it's because it's what I heard at my papa's knee. It was the big band stuff. So Um, it's a good day. Good morning, ladies, and see you all gathering as we get together. Um, Want to make sure that everybody is doing okay and pass the word. It's always good to check in with one another. So maybe every once in a while, just grab a name off of the feed here of our morning group. And if they're here, they're on Facebook. So go over to their Facebook page and drop them a message, see how they're doing, and just check in. Say, hi, I'm a morning reflector, and just wanted to introduce myself and say hi. So, ladies, it's good to see you, and we'll go on. So, once again, as we begin this morning, let's do that in a moment of prayer. Gracious and loving God, we thank you so much for the gifts that you shower upon us in such abundance. Even in our days when we are facing things that we do not understand and things that we are not sure that we can handle, you give us strength. One of the blessings that you bring to us, Lord, is your strength. That when we walk on days that we cannot see the next day, cannot see the next step, or maybe even the next breath, we know that you are with us and that your Holy Spirit is present all around us, that we are in your midst, and that between us you are as well. So even when we cannot see one another, when we cannot touch, we cannot be a comfort to one another in person, you are there between us and around us, surrounding us with your love and your strength and your presence. You are truly the friend that we have, the companion on our journey, and the one who will always be our God, Emmanuel. We pray all these things in the name of your Son and our Lord, Jesus Christ. Amen. So this morning, we're finishing up a little bit of a weekly attention to the Beatitudes in Matthew's Gospel in the chapter 5. We've been kind of pulling out particular verses to read to you each day, and today I want to read the end of the Beatitudes section. So we remember that Jesus has gone up on the mountain. There are crowds all around him, and as he gathers the crowd around him, this is the beginning of his first sermon. And he goes up, his disciples gather around him, and as he sits down to speak, he teaches them, saying, and I'm going to read actually that whole section of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. This is the gospel of the Lord. I love the Beatitudes, and they come around twice in the lectionary sometimes, and I can remember times when I said, it's the Beatitudes again. But I think that's one of the things that age does to us, that we find those things that used to be kind of like, oh, that again. And now I come to it and I go, oh, the Beatitudes. It's like putting on a warm jacket or going back to our comfort music as I did this morning with Glenn Miller, the big bands. So these are the kinds of things that we have to collect around us, these things that give us comfort and give us joy so that we can rejoice in this day, not looking forward or backward, but just rejoicing in this day. And God has given us so many gifts, so many blessings that help us do that daily walk, that presence in the world. And I'm hoping that you will receive today's blessing as a blessing to you, the blessings of the Beatitudes. When I think about blessings, I think about gifts, and I think I've told this story, but a bishop friend of mine, when I served on the church council, was the bishop in one of the New England states. She told a story about her grandson, who was maybe about 4 during the holiday season. And one day, he was staying with her, and she was in the kitchen or something, and he had been playing, and she went to the place where he had been playing quietly, and he wasn't there. And so she's, kind of a little bit frantically looking around the house, and finally she sees him, and he's lying down underneath the Christmas tree. The only thing she can see is his little feet coming out from under the Christmas tree. And she didn't want to startle him, so she calls out to him, I see you over there underneath the Christmas tree. My goodness, what are you doing underneath the Christmas tree? And he kind of starts wiggling his way out from under the Christmas tree and, kind of looks a little sheepish because he's been caught in his hiding place. She takes him by the hand and she says, why were you underneath the Christmas tree? And he looks up at her and I just wanted to see what it felt like to be a present. I can see that happening with my own grandson. But that simple purity of heart, why would you not go under the Christmas tree to find out what it feels like to be a present? You are all presents to me. And each morning as I see your names, I smile to see who has gathered, to see who has come to connect with one another and with God in this quiet time in the morning. So once again, this will be the last day I'll do this, but I hope that you are doing this at home, this idea of the blessing bowl, that in the morning you start by pouring water into your blessing bowl. And that signifies all of the good, the bad, and the ugly that you will encounter on this day. And please keep in mind that the good and the bad and the ugly all come with equal value to your life. And next week we're going to explore a little bit about that, what the ugly means for your journey and how it assists in your walk. But then this evening, after you have poured your water in for the day and accepted the fact that there will probably be good and bad and ugly, you take the water and pour it out into a plant in your home or outside back into the ground. So thank you, Melva Anderson, for that wonderful little morning ritual. So I hope you will add a blessing bowl, a water bowl, and a little pitcher or a little glass on your sacred space table, your little altar at home. Yesterday, I had the good fortune to meet with a group of women who are women in ministry around Olathe. When we started this group almost 20 years ago, we meet once a month for lunch and in different restaurants, and that we are all different denominations, which is such a blessing. And when we started out, most of us were in professional calls, either as pastors of churches or women's ministers or some position in a church body. Now, half of us are retired, not I, but half of them are retired. We have a couple of other women who are in affiliated industries. One of them is a funeral director, and one of them runs a food pantry. But we all started out together in our ministries, and it's been just wonderful to do that. So we haven't seen each other for a while, and it just got to me that I was missing them. So we did a Zoom meeting yesterday. And Ruth, who is a very special lady to me because she comes out of a completely different tradition. She used to serve at the Olathe Bible Church, so a very conservative tradition. But one of the things I love about Ruth is that she brings a different kind of gift than most of us mainliners do. And her gift is that she knows the Bible backwards and forwards. And she always seems to be able to choose a verse that speaks to the situation, and usually a verse that I would not have discovered or thought of. So yesterday, as we were discussing the virus and how we were doing and how our people were doing, and she said, before we close, I want to read a Bible verse. And she said, it's from one of my favorite books. And of course, I'm thinking, I bet it's Old Testament, but it's probably, Proverbs or, Ecclesiastes or something. And she says it's from Habakkuk. And I thought, oh my goodness, she's going to read the Luther passage about, justification by faith. But no, she came up with this wonderful passage, and it's in the 3rd chapter of Habakkuk, specifically verses 17 and 18. But it's kind of about how God has come to the people and is explaining to them what his wrath could do. So I'm going to just read the intro to the passage. I'm not going to read the long passage about his wrath. Just insert that, and then the final passage, which I think is just a lovely passage. So this is from Habakkuk in the 3rd chapter. And, O Lord, I have heard of your renown, and I stand in awe, O Lord, of your work. In our own time, revive it. In our own time, make it known. In wrath, may you remember mercy. And then we hear a lot about God's wrath. But then the conclusion of this chapter is, though the fig tree does not blossom, and no fruit is on the vine, though the produce of the olive fails, and the fields yield no food, though the flock is cut off from the fold, and there is no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will exalt in the God of my salvation, because God the Lord is my strength. He makes my feet dance like the feet of deer, and he makes me tread upon the heights. I just love that. God the Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of deer. I see deer every once in a while coming and going between Stillwell and Olathe to come to church. And I love to watch them bound over a fence or across the road in front of me, not too closely, in front of me. But just think what a lovely gift the animals and the parts of nature are. I'm still thinking about last Wednesday being Earth Day, and how I have noticed that the creatures have started to become much more comfortable in places that they haven't been for a while. And I hope we all take care to watch for the creatures who are reclaiming some of their territory, and number them among the gifts and the blessings that God has given to us. So let today be a day of gift and blessing. so that you might always see all those things around you as precious presents from God, God of mercy and God of grace and God of strength. I want to, before I go today, I would like very much to request something, and you may have seen this on the prayer list, but our dear Bob Thurman, who's been in Good Samaritan for a while now, is fine. So, as fine as you can be, shut down in a nursing home. But I just found out from Kathy Hay that we can go to Good Samaritan Olathe's website, and they will, there's a place you can click to leave a message. And so you can write him a little letter, or post a picture, or just of maybe something outside that he might be familiar with in the Olathe area. And then they'll print those out and deliver them to their rooms. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if a bunch of Advent people sent him notes in the next couple of days, and just so that he remembers that we remember him, and we thank God for his gift and his blessing to the community of Advent. So if you have a little bit over the weekend or today, go and leave a message for Bob, because he is one of God's gifts to us. Many, many blessings to you today. I hope it is a wonderful day, whether it's raining or whether it's sunny. It is a day that the Lord has made. So let us be glad and rejoice in it. Thank you for being here, my friends. I love you and I miss you, and we will see each other again in person, face to face, as God says. Have a great day. Bye-bye.